Festival.
Thank you so much.
Maybe you would like to start by introducing your film briefly?
Okay, my name is LEENA YADAV and I'm at the Stockholm Film Festival with a film called Parched. It's a film set in India. It's set in a rural land in India. It's a story about 4 women, and the film deals with a lot of important gender issues. It deals with women and sexuality, it deals with misogyny. It deals with customs and norms that we have bought into without questioning them. And it's a happy, sad, intense, exhilarating story.
Yeah, as you said, the film deals extensively with gender inequalities. And what made you want to explore that topic?
It was stories that I heard about women living in this particular village, which I started researching and exploring, and I met a lot of women in this particular part of India called Gujarat. But what was interesting to me when I came back to Mumbai, which is such a far off land from that, I realized the stories were just the same in Mumbai. The circumstances were different, but the stories were the same. And then I sent my script out to friends all over the world, and they wrote back more stories. And I realized that, like I said, circumstances may be different. In the West, it's probably happening inside shut doors. In societies which don't have education and information, it's probably publicly endorsed, but it's the same story everywhere. And that's exactly the kind of reaction I got when we screened the film at the Toronto International Film Festival. I had women from all over the world coming and telling me, this is my sister's story, this is my mother's story. So that's why I think it's time. And I realized that we're ready for this discussion. And I thought it was very timely to make a film like this.
But still, the women in the film, they seem to be making some progress during the course of the events.
Yes, so like somebody asked me what's the big change? I think the big change is the small individual change, which I deal with in my story. It's about these women just questioning their own circumstances and their own conditioning. And I think that's where the big change comes from individual change.
To return to the setting, you said you were inspired by the actual village where you shot it.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So are there also people living in that village playing in the film?
So, okay, it's an interesting story, but the region where I was doing my research, when I went to scout for villages to find a village to shoot my film in, I was refused permission from at least 30 to 40 villages when the villagers saw me, because they said, are more women like you going to come in here? I said, yes. So they said, no, our women will get corrupted looking at you. So that was really interesting because I could see my film playing out while, And so finally I had to actually find a village in another region. And yes, we did use a lot of the real villagers in the film. Not for the principal parts, but for a lot of the parts we did use real villagers.
That's interesting. It gives the film a very realistic approach.
Yes, and in fact, when we were shooting the dance numbers, we used the real village crowds. And those drama companies or dance companies exist because of the sexual repression, And I again witnessed the same thing because we finished our shoot in about 3 days, and that whole thing was a set. And slowly, in those 3 days, the news had spread, and there were men from neighboring villages. So for the next 15 days after we finished our shoot, we had people banging on the ticket windows saying, we want to watch the show. And we were like, no, this is a shoot, it's over. So it was quite interesting, yeah.
Right. Did you have any specific stylistic influences?
Did you have any?
Specific stylistic influences for this film?
No, not really. The thing is, I react to every story from depending on where it's coming from, what it's trying to say. I just knew one thing, and that I had to celebrate these women and I had to celebrate their lives. They live in this parched land, but if you see the color in their costumes, and there's so much of art and in their lives. You know, even within that small hut, there is so much of art, and they're trying to beautify their lives in whatever way they can. And I knew that I wanted this film to look really beautiful, and I think my cinematographer, Russell Carpenter, has really shown the beauty of that work.
And a film like this, with its kind of realistic approach, does it reach its audience in India?
That is yet to be seen. I'm optimistic. I don't know, there's no trend before or after. Everything is now in, you know, when it is. So I'm hoping that, you know, the story, which has a big heart, reaches out to the people in India.
So it has not had its
No,
premiere yet?
not yet, not yet.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So do you think that, if we think of the characters in this film, do you think they will be able to live more freely in the future after the events that we witness?
Well, the thing is that there are so many problems in the world that one keeps trying to address through films. And yes, definitely one wants to end with a note of hope, because it's only hope that makes you look forward to a better life and a better circumstance. And I knew I had to end my story with hope, and I think I managed to do that.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.